we're going to be discussing some national politics and issues relating to our elections. Tonight, we'll be getting to know the minds of the APC as relating to 2023, the place of the youth in the APC. Now, these defections, what does it mean for the APC? The names that we are hearing, the Bola Tinubu, the VP, Yemi Oshibajo, Yaya Bello, and a host, Kaude Fayemi, a host of the names that have been mentioned in the APC. What does this mean for the party? We hear from one of the chieftains of the party tonight on the program. But first, let's touch base and give you more insights into the decision of the National Assembly, especially the Senate yesterday, on the election and the transmission of results and the issues of electronic voting as amended by the Senate, which was reported largely that they made a U-turn based on their past or the last decision that stands on the matter as an entity. But tonight, we're taking a different dimension and look at the whole issue. One, we're taking a look at the security implication of electronic transmission or manual transmission of result. And we're also taking a look at the ICT, because this is basically technology. So how will it play out in our elections? So tonight, we're going to break it down for you to get a sense of what this means altogether. I'm being joined tonight by two experts in their different field, a security expert and a former DSS director, Mr. Mike Ejiofor is here with us in our Abuja studio. Thank you so much, Mr. Ejiofor, for coming in.
Thank you for having me.
And from Lagos, virtually, is Mr. Gbenga Sesan. Is an information technology expert and the executive director of Paradigm Initiative. He joins us from Lagos. Thank you so much, Mr. Sesan, for joining us tonight on the program. Perhaps I should begin with you. It's good to see you, Mr. Sesan. Let me ask you, should we go full-blown transmission of electronic transmission and voting? First and foremost, you are one of those I spoke to when the issues of whether or not Nigeria is capable of having electronic transmission of result, whether or not our technology base is capable of handling such a task. And now that it does look like the Senate have dropped that debate and they are aligning with some of their colleagues in the Senate and in the House. Are we ready for such a transition from manual to electronic transmission of results and some kind of electronic voting, Mr. Sesan? Can you hear me now? If you're not, I can hear you, but can you hear me now?
Yes, I can, finally. Thank you.
Oh, right. Great. Thank you. That's been fixed. Buttons these days and technology. And that's why we called you here tonight. So give us a sense of whether or not we have what it takes to go into that kind of technology in our election, transmission of result and electronic voting. Are we ready for it?
Thank you, Shem, and thanks for having me here. I think we should take INEC's word for it. INEC says we're ready. INEC says that we have the requisite technology to be able to transmit election results. I thought it was funny to hear conversations around the need for 3G to transmit election results. But we are ready. Is Nigeria's technology landscape perfect? No. Is there more work that needs to be done? Yes. But we do not have the luxury of being able to exclude, the opportunity of using technology. As you are aware, and I'm sure everyone else, there are regions in Nigeria today that we cannot physically transmit results from to collation centers without having to go through infrastructural problems, which means that we actually do need technology, and the technology is available. One of the reasons why I believe that we are ready is not just because INEC said it. It's not just because we have, as much as possible, some wide technology coverage, across all of Nigeria, but also because when we want things to work, we can make them work. And the next time somebody says that Nigeria is not ready, we should remind them that Nigeria is not just ready for transmission of results, but we have a provision in the NCC, the same institution that said that we were not ready, the NCC sits on top of what is called the Universal Services Provision Fund, which is a huge pot of money. And the purpose of that money is to make sure that we get last mile service in Nigeria. So there are two issues here. The first issue is that, yes, we're ready. There is no reason why we cannot transmit results from anywhere in Nigeria to anywhere else in Nigeria. And the second thing is, for those who want to give excuses, remember that you sit on top of the Services Provision Fund that is, was established for the exact same purpose of extending the frontiers of technology in Nigeria. So we are ready, and we already planned the resources for this.
I've been in Abuja for the past few weeks, and the last few days has been horrific in terms of network connection, especially internet. Internet, it's now is for a fact that it's not been passed into law. It's just in the process. So the president will still, there will be harmonization. Then the president will have to sign when it's eventually passed by the both session of the National Assembly. But a quick one is that if you were to advise security agencies who deploy for elections based on electronic transmission, what would be your advice?
My advice is that we should have less deployment. But for now, they should deploy fully to observe. They should be there as observers. Because, in fact, like I said when we started, we don't have a situation where you grant all economic activities because there's election. Or the military. Where do you have the number of security agencies to deploy? Because we're having an election. So my advice is that they should concentrate on their primary responsibility of securing the nation and watch our politicians as things, events unfold.
Because it's not only the physical security now. Let me bring back Mr. Sesan as we wrap up the conversation. It's not only the physical security. We're going to be considering also the security of the entire gamut of the network, of the technology that is going to be deployed. On a final note, what are your thoughts on how to ensure, because Kaduna State had used for two different local government election cycles in Kaduna State, they've deployed the electronic technology for voting in Kaduna State. But what would you like to say to INEC in terms of security of the space? Should we go full-blown into electronic transmission of voting?
I would say to INEC what they already know. First is that it is extremely important to plan the entire process and have scenarios. Of course, there will be attempts to act. Of course, there will be attempts to manipulate. But that's why we have scenario planning. The second is to build redundancy. There will be failure. What will fail will fail. It's the same in the physical, it's the same, with digital. And the third I would say is that INEC, I hope, as followed the process in Kaduna, and they've seen what has been done. And I'm glad that you mentioned that. Not only that, I think that INEC also needs to talk to institutions and platforms that have done massive, huge scale voting. Talk to Big Brother. Talk to businesses that are already, running financial services, and they have systems that have worked. And then when you build based on this, it's an irony to me, it's an irony, when you consider the fact that many of the people who sort of voted were trying to say that electronic voting, we're not ready for electronic voting or transmission, by the way, of results. I am sure some of them did electronic transfer of money, that same day, either before or after they made those statements. It doesn't happen in one day, but technology scenarios are planned over time. There are experts within INEC. I mean, I have personally had conversations with people at INEC, and I know that even between then and now, they have also added more people to their team. Nigeria has more than enough technical capacity. If INEC needs help, the entire ICT and tech community in Nigeria is waiting to offer their services to INEC so that we can do this and move away from processes that certain politicians are able to manipulate more easily because they know the game. It's time for us to disrupt elections in Nigeria.
Thank you so much, Mr. Gbenga Sesan. I must sincerely also thank you, Mr. Mike Ejiofor, former DSS Director and Security Expert. Gbenga Sesan is the Executive Director of Paradigm Initiative and an ICT expert. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for coming on.